It's Bernie. Absolutely.
Can we do selfies?
Please.
Sure, come on up.
Yeah, so do you call on Monday then?
If we charge for it, we have a long night.
We can donate it out to the Wage Watch.
That's hilarious.
No, awesome. Ready,
It's fascinating.
And I thought, you know, I realized that.
Right.
No, I don't want to go back.
There's 5 feet or 3 feet. Which one? I do.
You want a Bernie button?
Okay.
I have more merch. Talk Bernie to me. That's great. Let's see, we got resist, nasty women get crap done. Proud Democrat. What a wonderful collection you girls, ladies have here. Oh, they got the pink Bernie shirt. I think we should buy ourselves matching pink Bernie shirts. $4?
Like we did one.
Oh, okay, $20. You taking donations for Ukraine?
I am just telling people where they can donate.
Where can they donate?
Well, they can donate at United 24. That's the main government website of Ukraine for donations.
Oh, okay.
So this, and then also there are other American take a picture of that. There's other American nonprofits. There's a couple of them on here.
Okay.
There you go.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
No Nerd Reich.
You don't want that.
What you got there?
We got a little bit of everything, my friend.
Okay. Fuck Neo-Elon. Napoleon.
Buttons, hats, and shirts.
How much for the pens?
They're $5.
$5. Okay, thank you. Oh, nice Bernie's hats. How much?
20.
20, okay.
Someone wants to know how much your t-shirts are. 25?
Yes, ma'am.
Wow.
Take pretty much all forms of payment. We'll be here.
Thank you for caring for each other.
Water around the corner.
My name is Adelita Grijalva. I am the granddaughter of a bracero, a hard-working Mexican immigrant who responded to the call when the U.S. needed labor, and I am the daughter of a congressman. That happened in one generation. In Trump's America, I know, we will be a society divided by those who have it all and those who have nothing. Are we going to stand silently while the billionaires boys clubs? The Billionaire Boys Club, who bought this last election, roll over our rights? No way. This oligarchy has got to go.
I'm Congressman Greg Casar from the great state of Texas. I'm proud to chair the Congressional Progressive Caucus. And Adelita Grijalva, I know your dad is watching us from the sky, cheering you on, rooting us on in this fight. Donald Trump wants you to feel powerless. The billionaire class wants you to feel powerless. They want you to feel powerless because they are afraid of the power on this field. They're afraid of the lines of people wrapping around this high school. It's time to take on the rich. It's time to take on the ultra-powerful. Your power is what they're afraid of. Your power that is scaring Republican office holders right now from holding any town halls. That might be the biggest news that we've missed in the last few days, is that House Speaker Mike Johnson told all the Republican members of Congress, don't hold any town halls, don't meet with your constituents. Well, we got a little town hall here today, don't we, Tucson? These fraud politicians are so scared that they will be exposed by Americans of all backgrounds and beliefs as the fraudsters that they are. Let's talk about what they don't want to talk about, starting with Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency. Musk wants you to work more hours to make him more rich. Musk wants you to pay more taxes to make him more rich. Tucson, I've had enough of this. It's time to say, fire Elon Musk. Fire who? Fire who? Don't fire public school teachers. Fire who? Don't fire nurses. Fire who? Don't fire our veterans. Fire who? Fire who? Well, it's time to talk about how we're going to do it, Tucson. You see, there's this debate happening in Washington, D.C. right now about how we should respond to the oligarchy. Anybody? No, roll over, play dead people over here, over there. Well, Bernie Sanders is here to stand and fight. AOC is here to stand and fight. I hear some people are ready to stand and fight. Say it with me. Stand and fight. Stand and fight. When they come for our public schools, we're not going to roll over and play dead. We're going to stand and fight. When they come for our health care, we're not going to roll over and play dead. We're going to stand and fight. When they come for our veterans, we're not going to roll over and play dead. We're going to stand and fight. When they try to pass their tax cuts for billionaires, we're not rolling over and playing dead. We are going to stand and fight. That's exactly how we're going to beat them, Arizona. I'm not telling you it's going to be easy. So on our darkest days, I want you to remember, there can be a world that is better after this. There has to be a better world after this. Our biggest enemy is not just Donald Trump. It's not even Elon Musk. Our biggest enemy is cynicism. The idea they try to implant into us that a better world isn't possible. The idea they try to put in our heads that no matter what we do, nothing will ever change. Because if they convince us of that, if they get us to tune out, then they have all the power. They can turn us against one another. They can get us to even give up. But that cynicism is a lie, Arizona, and our job is to expose the truth. Son una bola de cobardes y ladrones. Le tienen miedo a sus propios constituyentes. Ahora es nuestro momento para quitarle el poder a esta bola job is not just to beat the fraudster Republicans at the polls. Our job is also to make sure the Democratic Party stops thinking small, does big things for working people, always, no matter what, period, and stop. Cut off ties to the billionaire class and stand with the working class every single day. That is how we not only defeat Trump and Musk, but also defeat the hopelessness, the cynicism that created them. That is what we are tasked to do here today. And there is a young Congresswoman who has shown the world how we create hope, how we take on the billionaires, how we take on the bullies. She's fearless. She's a true leader of our movement. She's who we need in this moment. She's a historical figure right now, right here. She's our champion for the working class. She's our champion for democracy. I'm proud to call up the Congresswoman, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
Hello, Arizona. Hello, Tucson. How are we feeling today? Are we ready to fight? Are we ready to win? And we will never, ever, ever give up. Thank you all so much for joining me today and for taking the time. My name is Alexandria. And it's so great to be here in Tucson today. You know, my home is a ways from here, but in truth, the distance between us is a lot shorter than we think. And it's a lot shorter than we're told. Mi casa es su casa. Now, let's get to why we are all here today. Because we're all here and we share in the frustration and the heartache from watching people in power actively tear down or refuse to fight for everyday working Americans like us. We're here together because an extreme concentration of power and corruption is taking over this country like never before. And we are here, most importantly, because we know that a better world is possible. Se puede. But to get there, we need to be honest about where we are, Tucson, because we are witnessing an oligarchy in America. When those with the most economic, political, and technological power destroy the public good to enrich themselves, while millions of us pay the price. And our political system is ill-prepared for this abuse of power. In fact, much of our political system enables this abuse of power, starting with the role of money in politics. But I'm here to remind you that we are not powerless in this moment. People are starting to put the pieces together. And ironically, the most divisive forces in our country are actually bringing more of us together than before. And that's important. But we need to take stock of what is happening, because one of our best first steps is awareness. We need to say and call out what is happening so that we can educate others and talk to others about what's happening right now. Because the same billionaires who are taking a wrecking ball to our country derive their power from dividing working people apart. They specialize in getting us to turn on one another. And these billionaires
billionaires bankrolling some of the most divisive media and some of the most disgusting, hateful posts that we see on social media, on television media. They want to divide us along lines of left or right, race and gender, creed and culture. And they will throw out every label and judgment and cultural debate in the book to keep us distracted, folks. And we're going to send a message to Donald Trump and Elon Musk and every Republican in the state of Arizona that we will not be distracted. We got our eyes on the prize, and we will build the nation that we want for ourselves. And the Republican Party's disdain for the working class doesn't just come from not being raised right. It's a shorthand for the right wing's entire political agenda and a certain ugly kind of politics that at its core is about lying to and screwing over working and middle-class Americans so that they can steal from our health care, Social Security, and veterans to pay for tax cuts for the rich and bailouts for their crypto billionaire friends. But there's a word for this kind of thing, Tucson. You know it? Corruption. I'll say it in Spanish. Corrupción. Que los corruptos vayan. And seeing all of this stack up, from how overwhelming and selfish all this looting is to the constant barrage of phone notifications and headlines day to day, is enough to make even the best of us want to give up, want to give in to despair. That working people are under. But his answer to that pressure is an America where it's just every man for himself, a kind of Darwinistic society. And now that he's back in power, we can see it clear as day. Trump handed the keys of government to Elon Musk and is selling the country for parts to the richest people on the planet for a kickback. And in exchange, those billionaires will back his campaigns and those of his allies. And if you don't believe me, just look at what Elon Musk said the other week, that he would volunteer to bankroll campaigns for House members who voted to impeach even right-wing Supreme Court members who don't totally agree and don't vote with him lockstep on every case. But the clever thing is that what Republicans do is that they try to make working people like you and me feel like we're just one step outside of that club. That if we just work a little bit harder, maybe we'll be a billionaire too. Except those kinds of spoils aren't earned, Tucson. They're stolen. They're stolen. Elected officials should take on abuse of corporate power everywhere that we find it. We must get big money out of politics and make clear that our country is not for sale. That's why I don't and never will take money from industry lobbyists or corporations. And some folks, maybe some local members of Congress out here or some pundits on television might have you believe that these American values are something out of the Communist Manifesto. And that we believe these things because we went to some fancy school and read them in a book somewhere. But I can tell you, we don't believe in healthcare, labor, and human dignity because we're extremists. And I don't believe these things because I'm an extremist. I believe these things because I was a waitress, Tucson. Because I scrubbed toilets with my mom to afford school. Because I worked double shifts to keep the lights on. Because I did lose my dad to cancer as a kid and had to see my mom open the hospital bills a couple days after. And I know that we don't have to live like this anymore, Tucson. fascist administration didn't come from anywhere. They had planted the seeds for years. PTAs, bullying people out of school boards, city councils. It's time to put our glasses on. We got an Air Force show out here. We got an air show out here. They're our backup today. We need to pay attention to every local race on the ballot, Arizona. We're taking the state over. We're taking it back. And we're going to fight, fight, fight for the future that we deserve. Si se puede. Vamos a hacerlo. Lo vamos a lograr. Because community is the most powerful building block we have to defeat authoritarianism and root out corruption. It's not a mistake that all of this backsliding is happening after COVID, when we were isolated and apart, but then after that, they tried to keep us isolated and apart, because when you don't know your neighbor, it's easier to turn against them. So that's why what you do matters. Showing up to the community board matters. Showing up in person matters, because it becomes so much harder to hate someone you know. That is our mission. Don't think it's too small. There is no act too small in the next couple years. No matter who we are or where we come from, we are here today to make a sacred promise to each other. Because our goal is not just to come together, share a few inspiring words, and then go back to how things were. We can't go back to how things were. Our goal today is to commit to building the kind of country we all deserve. So I want you all to look around. These are your brethren for the fight for our future. And I want you to look around, and if I can offer one assignment before we all depart here today, it is to leave this place connected to a new person you didn't know coming into this place. And I want you to turn to the people around you and greet someone you don't know.
Hi, comrade.
This is my favorite part. Now that we've done that, we're here to again make that promise, to take care of each other on our worst days, and to share in the successes of our best. Thank you, Tucson.
Tucson, thank you! My only problem today is that I don't know what I can say after what Greg and Alexandria have already said. But when people think about the future of this country, and whether we have the kind of political leadership we need among the young people of America, you're looking at these guys right now. So I just want to thank Alexandria and Greg, not only for being here today, but for inspiring millions and millions of young people all across this country. And I want to just say a brief word about our friend Grijalva. I was here in Tucson a number of years ago when I was running for president. And at that point, you know, we didn't have 20,000 people coming out of meetings, and I wasn't very well known. And what Raul did, he said, I like what Bernie was saying. I was talking to Adelita a few moments ago. And he said, Bernie is speaking what has to be said. And he had the guts to come out and endorse me and take on the whole Democratic establishment. So we will never forget Raul Grijalva and his dedication to the working families of our country. Look, my message today is simple. And what this crowd tells me, and by the way, we had 36,000 people coming out in Denver. We had 15,000 in Tempe, and now we got some 20,000 here. And what it tells me is that the American people will not allow Donald Trump to create an oligarchy in America. They will not allow Donald Trump to create an authoritarian society. Now, right now in America, you have what we call an oligarchy. And what an oligarchy is about is a handful of billionaires controlling our government. Now, some of you may have seen Donald Trump's inauguration. See it? Well, I had the unfortunate position of being in the front row. Not a good position to be in. And what I saw in front of me, right behind Donald Trump, were the three wealthiest people in America. Mr. Musk, Mr. Bezos, and Mr. Zuckerberg. But that's not all. Right behind them, there were 13 other multi-billionaires who Trump had nominated to head major government agencies. Now, some of you may remember what Abraham Lincoln said at Gettysburg. Remember what he said? Here you had a situation where thousands of soldiers died trying to end slavery. And a few days later, he looks out on the battlefield where people had died and been wounded. And he said, you know what? We have a vision of a country where we're going to have a government of the people, by the people, for the people. Well, Donald Trump has a different vision. He wants a government of the billionaire class, by the billionaire class, and for the billionaire class. So let me tell you something now that you don't see much on corporate television and you don't hear discussed on the halls of Congress. In fact, I'm going to do something very radical. You ready? I'm going to tell you the truth. So brothers and sisters, this is where we are right now. People on top, enormous wealth, enormous power. And what their power is about, not just that they control the economy, they control the political system as well. Now, I don't care if you're a conservative Republican or a progressive. Does anybody think it makes sense that we have a campaign finance system where one man, Musk, can put $270 million to get Trump elected, and then his reward is that he becomes the most powerful person in government? That is not democracy, that is oligarchy. But it's not just Republicans. You got billionaire Democrats who are telling candidates, don't stand up for the working class. So we've got a corrupt campaign finance system. We got to get rid of this terrible Citizens United Supreme Court decision. We don't want a king in the United States. We overthrew a king. We want a vibrant democracy, not all power resting in the hands of one person. It is outrageous that this guy sues media, sues ABC, CBS, Meta, threatening to investigate NPR, PBS. You know why? Because they dared to be critical of him. Oh, his feelings were just crushed. He wants everybody to bow down. Oh, you're great, you're terrific. Hey, Mr. President, if you can't take criticism, get out of politics. What they now want to do is force the 2 million people out of Gaza and build some playground for the billionaire class. Unbelievable. Our brothers and sisters, and Alexandria made this point, Greg made this point. We're going to fight Trump at every step of the way. And the crowds that I have seen tell me the American people are prepared to stand up and fight. But it's not only opposing Trump. What is very important, absolutely important, is for us never to forget we are today the wealthiest nation in the history of the world. We got any teachers here? Thank you, teachers. And when we talk about quality public education, no teacher in America should start off in less than $60,000 a year. These kids here in Tucson, kids in Burlington, Vermont, in LA, California, they deserve the best education in the world. We can provide it to them. And we can and should make sure that when kids want a higher education, whether it's college, whether it's trade school, we need desperately doctors and nurses, mental health counselors, dentists. We need sheet metal workers, carpenters.
Simplified solutions to complex situations.
We need a system that trains people to go out and do the work that needs to be done without going back.
Yeah, that would be seeing Ron Paul.
We should be making all of our public colleges, universities, community colleges tuition free.
They're all good ideas, right? Not every idea is a good idea.
When somebody says, well, Bernie, it's a good idea, how are you going to pay for it? I'll tell you how. We're not going to give tax breaks to billionaires. We're going to ask them to start paying their fair share of tax. And now in Washington, Alexandria, Greg and I, we hear from our colleagues a whole lot about freedom. Well, if we're going to talk about freedom, let us understand that the women of this country must have the freedom to control their own bodies. So brothers and sisters, we're going to fight Trump every step of the way. And what you are saying here in Tucson, and I want you to know, what you're doing here in Tucson impacts not only Arizona, the whole world is watching. And what people all across this country are saying, do we have the guts to stand up to Trumpism and oligarchy and authoritarianism? We say yes. So the task is not easy, believe me, I know that. Let's be clear. The oligarchs have unlimited amounts of money. You know, what for you is a cup of coffee, for them, $5 million, $10 million, doesn't mean a damn thing. They got unlimited amounts of money. They control the media. They own the media. They have tremendous power over the political process.
Meet activists and volunteers who believe what you believe. Take action, Tucson. There you are. Have a great day.
You too.
Tucson, thank you.